Thank you for the reception. Hello everyone. Good morning, and hopefully this session will take us to good afternoon. I am Vaibhav Khandelwal, co-founder and CTO at Shadowfax Technologies. Shadowfax is a 8.5-year-old startup per se, which specializes in last mile logistics front. We work with almost all the major consumer brands that you use frequently, be it the likes of Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, Big Basket, Flipkart, Myntra, and so on. What we do is that we assist them with the last mile logistics front. So in the areas where we are serviceable, your Swiggy order would be delivered via Shadowfax. As an end customer, you would never understand whether it is a Shadowfax delivery partner or a Swiggy delivery partner because of the deeper tech integrations that we have with them. From a scale perspective, we are present in around 2,100 cities of the country. We have a gig platform where more than 2 lakh delivery partners work with us on a monthly basis. As an entity, yes, we are profitable on an EBITDA level, on a PAT level as well. So that's where we are in terms of the scale, in terms of where we stand. Now, the agenda of my talk here would be quite a common term or quite a common conversations that we have in our regular conversations around AI. But what I would like to focus on is on the Indian context of it. So the topic again, as we see, is AI and future of work. The talk, I would like to focus more on what is it for Indian ecosystem. Is it what will change for Indian setups? Is it that helpful for us? Will it be a threat for us? And what are the different strategies in which we can navigate in this directions here? So I might need some help here to move to the next slide. Sorry, this one. Yeah. So so just a caveat. A lot of images that you would see on the on these slides, they are generated via AI. So have tried to incorporate that element here. But focusing on the agenda item here, the broad 4 pointers that we will take into account here. First is the possibilities with AI, the kind of problems that AI can solve for us. We'll try to focus on the bigger picture rather than the regular stuff that we normally or daily use. Then we'll try to sneak peek into what will happen 10 years down the lane in 2023. We'll address the elephant in the room as well, whether AI will eat up jobs or will there be a dearth of jobs that we'll see in upcoming future. And final point is the plan of action or the set of strategies that we can look to plan way ahead of the future that we are moving forward here. As I discussed earlier, we'll try to address these points in the Indian context further. A lot of presentations, a lot of study material that is there online is biased or is favored towards a Western culture. I'll try to address how things differ for us as Indian community. So, starting with possibilities of AI or the bigger question per se, that is the adoption of AI a major thing for India. So when we talk about Western world where there is lack of labor, the set of automation or the set of capabilities that AI can bring onto the systems, they can improve the productivity and efficiencies for people in the Western countries. But for a country like India, where there is inherent unemployment, even without the adoption of AI, do we need to go that deep with AI, or we can live with the kind of human resources that we have at this point of time? So, and that is the question that I have also been pondering. And the answer to this question will define our policies. The answer to these questions will define how much resources do we invest in building the AI infra, in building the associated ecosystem for AI. It's good for us to build solutions which will help Western countries, for example. We'll be happy that we are getting a lot of things automated for us, be it on the creative side of it or be it on even on the development side of it. But is it impacting the larger economy of the country? Is it impacting the larger basis of what India is? And to be honest, we all are a very limited percentage of what the overall India is. So the answer to this started, in order to discuss this question further, I started thinking about what is the major problem statement that we have in India. What, as leaders, as policymakers, we need to address for India. And I felt that the major problem that we need to solve for is poverty. That is something, we are still a majority poor nation, and we need to solve for it. Now, poverty in general is not lack of money, it's lack of resources per se. In the current era, the citizens that we have, they are not getting adequate access to education. They are not getting adequate, if you go into the villages, you do not get adequate access to quality healthcare as well. As a nation, while we have a lot of population, we are not churning out adequate number of engineers or adequate number of doctors here. Now in that scenario, the solutions that AI provided can significantly help us bridge that gap. In terms of education, a large part of India is vernacular. You cannot expect that a content created in English, a YouTube video created in English will suffice for everyone. You need a vernacular setup there. With the AI capabilities that are there, we can easily transform and distribute this education to the larger masses that are there. Similarly, the possibility on the healthcare side of it. We all know what happened with us during COVID. The access to quality doctors, the access to quality infrastructure wasn't there. Now, with the kind of solutions, with the kind of companies are also, the kind of companies that are working on the healthcare side of it, they can actually distribute primary healthcare to the larger masses, be it logistic support via drones, or be it diagnosis part of it, or be it even the report analysis part of it. The quality that the AI systems can and are bringing onto the table can actually solve the major divide that is there in India. Even for the larger urban population as well, cancer remains a major problem statement for a good chunk of Indians that we have. And the amount of research, the amount of capabilities that AI can help us from a genomic research perspective, from early diagnosis perspective, that can actually help us move further as a country in that direction. Similar advances are there on the agriculture side of it, which is the primary source of income for a country like India. The drone surveillance that is there, the soil analysis and the predictability of rains and harvest, they all are an important tool where AI can and is focusing on to solve the problem statements for a country like India. Now, I have intentionally tried not to take in the regular examples of AI that we use in our daily lives. We use AI to automate a lot of our stuff, but these are more fundamental and deeper problem statements where we need to continue investing on, and if we invest in, as a country, it will be a more beneficial thing for us. So from a bigger picture perspective, the idea is that AI is here to stay. We will see a larger adoption of AI in our lives as we move forward. Now the question is, what will 2023 look like? So we'll move on to that slide here. Again, this image was generated using AI. Same for this as well. Sorry. I think it's better now. So, moving on to 10 years further, what are some of the predictions that we will see in the way we work, in the way AI blends into our system? Before that, again, the important question that arises, why are we now all of a sudden thinking about what the future with AI look like? So we have had AI embedded into our daily life quite often. We have seen how Amazon recommendations work. We have seen how our music recommendations work. Until now, and that's what Mr. Satya Nadella also talked about in his presentation about future of work, is that until now, AI was in an autopilot mode. It was a tool which was governed by a limited set of data scientists, and it had no way to configure with the end user. So the recommendation systems that you have on Amazon, for example, they will behave the same way irrespective of what input you give in. I mean, by input, I mean the configurations that you give in. You do not have a control on how it will run. Whereas, in case of an interaction with ChatGPT, basis the prompts that you give in, you are now able to control the output, or you are able to associate AI in the way that it suits you better. So now it is moving from an autopilot mode to a co-pilot mode. We are now in an era where each one of us, irrespective of our technical expertise, can interact and experience AI. And that is actually what will change the way we will work in future. So the predictions that we see is that AI will influence all industries and sectors of work. Be it on the content side of it, be it on the research, be it on development, software engineering, or even on the creative side of things as well. Now, the access to AI is actually reaching in a democratized manner. AI, as we all understand, will bring significant productivity gains. And what we foresee in upcoming 10 years is that it will definitely allow one person to take care of work that many others were doing together. So the amount of time, the amount of resources we used to spend on solving a problem statement by, let's say, 5 people, that will transform into one person solving it with the help of AI. This is going to happen. This is kind of a reality that we'll move on there. At the same time, these productivity gains will also allow us to spend time on something that we treasure, or maybe ensure us to have a better work-life balance. The kind of time that we spend right now in doing a lot of grunt work can actually be outsourced to AI. And whereas the good, creative, the enjoyable part of doing work will be with us. What it will also do is that it will expose availability of complex solutions to larger masses. So just imagine a scenario if you need to optimize your finances for a month. Now that required a lot of time and bandwidth and also expertise at your own end. If you had to identify where should you invest, how should you invest, when should you do an SIP, and which stock should you do an SIP for. All these are some of the complex problem statements which not a large majority of us are comfortable in doing that easily. What AI will do is that in future, such complex solutions will be available with each one of us. We will have access to a lot of such analysis, we'll have access to a lot of such solutions with us, which will allow us to make better decisions and better solutions there. The fourth point is more on the way business decisions now AI is accessible to a larger audience. And with this understanding of how AI operates, it could be biased by individuals as well. Now, if it could be biased, it could actually create a havoc across the business decisions, across the impact that we recently just talked about. And hence, there will be a policy framework that will be there on how do we use AI, what are the ethics that needs to be governed in that, what is the fair use policy. We do not want to live in a world that the person who has the data has control over the entire thought process that each one of us have. We would want to live in a zone where the AI is neutral, just like the kind of debates we had when internet was, the internet net neutrality discussions that we had. So in the upcoming 10 years, we'll definitely see scenarios where lots of debates and policies will be framed on how we want to use AI, how do we want to control the biases, how do we want to ensure that it's a fair use system, which is an overall gain for everyone. So yeah, that's some comments on what our understanding of 2023 would look like. It may even happen earlier, as we have seen with some of the earlier technologies that, as a simple, very example, we all have seen how the pace of UPI grew. Earlier, it used to grow at marginal paces, and all of a sudden, it multiplied. Same can actually happen with AI as more and more people embrace it. So moving forward, and let's also address this question that will AI take up jobs? Are the jobs under threat with increasing adoption of AI in our Indian ecosystem? Now, when I'm talking about Indian ecosystem, we need to understand that our current unemployment rates are already high, at a point where our AI adoption hasn't been anywhere near the optimum levels. We still have a good chunk of workforce who do not have sufficient or adequate jobs to take care of their own lives. And if you go by different anecdotes or different conversations by leading people who are working in the space of AI, you would definitely see that yes, they do agree that there is a dearth, there will be a threat to the jobs market that we have. So in future, yes, the kind of jobs that we have right now, they may become extinct. And we need to embrace it, we need to understand it, that will be the reality. The kind of automation, the kind of solutioning that machines will be able to do in upcoming future, they will replace the humans that are taking care of such elements there. And what will bring us to the question here is that what should a country like India do in such scenarios? How should we plan about it? How should we think about it? Wherein even in our current scenarios, we are not able to give employment to each and every educated, even an educated youth in our country. So if you see the graph, the major point that we need to notice is the unemployment rate in 20 to 24-year-olds. That's as high as 45%. A person graduates during this age. In the initial first or second year of graduation, 45% of our youth are still unemployed. We're not able to give them adequate jobs. And then we are also talking that we would want to automate a lot of stuff using AI. And that is the paradox that we need to answer as a community, as a government, as a society in general, that how should we plan forward in that. So in order to contemplate around it, have thought about some action points or thoughts around what we can do, how we can do. So for this, so I would say don't maybe delve much into the percentages that are reflected here. But the core idea is that I've tried to bifurcate the kind of jobs in the current scenario into 3 different buckets. So first bucket is educating non-active workforce. So these are the workforce who are still in their education domain. They're still studying. They're still trying to figure out what to do. The second part of the workforce is the active workforce, where AI may not completely wipe out what they are doing, but AI will significantly act as a co-pilot there. And the third is the active workforce, where AI is actually a threat, where AI can go out there and automate each and everything that that workforce is working on. So for the first part, where there is an educating non-active workforce, we need to start thinking differently. So with AI or with any other technology innovation that happens, as always, it is important, it happens that it takes down certain jobs, but it increases certain other jobs. The kind of roles or the kind of opportunities or the kind of education that we were having 3 years or 5 years back may not be sufficient for the future generation. And hence, we need to start thinking about the newer generation on the different opportunities that can arise. When AI will embed into all the systems, all the industries, there would be a significant need of tech talent across all these industries. You would see technology talent even present in the agriculture sector as well. You would have larger farmers asking for maybe data scientists to help them increase their product yields. And such opportunities, such jobs is something that the new generation needs to be aware of and needs to be made flexible here. I would also like to maybe appreciate the initiative that IIT Bombay recently took. So at IIT Bombay, all first year graduates, all the graduates who are studying in the first year, they are offered a mandatory course on AI. So that is a very good step, because irrespective of whether you are in, let's say, mechanical engineering or civil engineering, you need to know what are the possibilities of AI. You need to understand what you can build, how it can augment you, so that you do not become redundant here. The third point here, which maybe will have a very important impact for us, is that we need to start investing in AI infra. Now, see, in the earlier days, or even till today, we talk about infrastructure as the basic building blocks of economy. We talk about building roads, building ports, airports, etc. We also need to start thinking about building data centers, building GPUs, building TPUs, and so on. The AI infra is also an important investment that the government, as a community, we need to start doing it. Because all these processing will require a lot of infrastructure, and the earlier we make investments in this infrastructure, the better it will be for us. The second is on the active workforce, where AI will act as a co-pilot. So it's the major question there, that which jobs would AI eat up, or which jobs are safe from AI. And a larger consensus here is that indispensable human skills will always remain. Skills like leadership, skills like empathy, skills like complex problem solving or subject matter expertise. These will always stay with humans. AI, at least in the next 10 years or so, will not be able to displace those. So if you are in that domain, you may not need to be that worried about whether AI will eat your jobs or not. What you need to be worried, or what you need to think more about, is that you need to start embracing AI to improve your own productivity, or to get more time for yourself. As a simple example of a teacher, the teachers in India they spend a good amount of time in preparing evaluation tests and then evaluating them further. The regular homework is given. They spend a lot of time in that direction. AI can actually automate that entire piece for you. You then can focus more on one-on-one teaching. You can then focus on personalized teaching for individuals. In terms of programmers, we spend a lot of time in writing unit test cases, for example, or testing, for example. All this can be offloaded to AI. We take a lot of time in let's say the law, in the legal firms, in the marketing firms, into building the right content. All this, a large portion of it can be offloaded there. To be honest, some portion of this presentation were offloaded to an AI, which helped me cover it up in a shorter duration. But that's the entire idea, that we need to start embracing it. Then the final piece where AI is a threat to the workforce, and it will be a threat to workforce where there is a repetitive job, where there is an autonomous, where there is less upskilling that is there. For all those individuals, for all those workforce, we need to reskill and upskill. That's the only way, that we can overcome AI per se. So I often talk to people and tell that technology, for example, being a software developer is a good job, because in the current scenario, it pays you well, and at the same time, it gives you a work-life balance. If you compare it to a job like investment banking, for example, that is a lot more hectic in general, and definitely it pays you well. But the software engineering is something that has the best of both worlds. The downside is that technology changes very fast. So when technology changes very fast, you could actually become redundant very fast. Something that may not happen with people who are in leadership skills or who are in the management leadership skills. The kind of skills that you acquire in an MBA or in work experience, they'll continue forward, but not the languages that you learn right now. They may become extinct in a couple of years. So the reskilling and upskilling is really, really important. And second, in order to safeguard the jobs, it's important to develop deep emotional intelligence. Go after domains, try improving your work, try improving the kind of work that you are doing, that it is only doable by humans, that it has a larger AI quotient that is available. I think I'm running short of time, so I'll maybe wrap it up here and we'll open up for Q&A. Thank you so much for listening, and happy to take your questions.